Hey, welcome everybody to AOPA's Flight School Business Quick Tips from the Field. We are really fortunate to be joined today by Faith Drury, the founder of FL Aviation. So one of the things obviously that I think any business owner knows is that you need to satisfy and make your customers happy so that they want to come back. I would assume that's like a major thing, right? Not to mention that you want to provide good service. Can you tell us a little bit about your approach to that, and did you find that to be true, keeping that customer happy as an important thing?
Absolutely. And it's fairly self-evident, things that you hear about, well, the personal touch and all of this. But you cannot understate the importance of this. People who are investing in flight training are generally investing a very large amount of money in a dream and in a goal. And we all know that there's going to be points where you get frustrated, you get stuck, you're not understanding a concept, you just can't get the landings down. And helping customers through that is really essential to having them want to stay with you, with your school through their commercial or just, word of mouth and being happy, satisfied customers. So some of the things that we did, we had a big wall of shirt tails. And I think that custom has sometimes fallen by the wayside. But when people came in as a new customer, they'd look up at the wall and they'd be excited, like, oh, I'm gonna have my shirt up there. And it's a little bit of a silly thing, you might say, but also it goes a long way. And there's a lot of small things like that you can do, having a certificate for when they solo that they can print out or have handed to them and take home. Celebrating on social media all of the students who pass milestones for solos, check ride passes. Highlighting instructors and their successes in social media too makes the customers feel like, okay, this is a business that is supporting all of its people. And then there's an interesting point that I think a lot of schools don't necessarily take into consideration, which is that sometimes the person paying the bills is not the same as the person taking the lessons. And I think it can't be understated the importance of keeping those people happy as well. So we found a lot of, I'll just say parent as a placeholder for whoever may be paying the bills, but parent engagement was really important too. And especially those, we're in a college town, so the parents weren't
Right.
home, they weren't nearby to see their kids' successes. So being able to reach out and say, hey, we're planning to solo your kid next week.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then the parents wouldn't know otherwise. And so just keeping the parents engaged was also a really big driver of customer satisfaction because happy parents, happy kids.
No doubt. And in fact, just as a quick follow up to that too, you mentioned the idea of reaching out when they're soloing. Was that the main thing? Was just opening that line of communication with the parents to keep them engaged?
Definitely opening the line of communication. And again, social media can be a huge help at this. But there were some parents that, we developed relationships with the parents directly and would just pick up the phone and call and say, hey, just wanted
Yeah.
to see. A good example would be parents who would send in a $5,000 check. Say, okay, well, it's time to put money on account. We'd receive the check and call to say thank you. And do you have any questions about where your student is right now? Curious if they've given you any feedback and having that personal conversation with them at whatever opportunities present themselves.
Awesome.